everybody. Welcome to another episode with Thrive TV. I am here with your friend of mine, Joe Velazquez, certified trainer with NAHREP 10. And today we want to talk to you about principle number 3 of NAHREP 10, which is to live below your means. So Joe, let's talk about that. Let's start unpacking that for people.
You know, Jacob, I'm excited. Here we are again, continuing the NAHREP 10, principle number 3 today, to live below your means. Let's talk about why is that important. When you think about living below your means, you're saying, okay, why should I have to do that? I can tell you that if you look through history, if you look through the economy and statistics, we clearly see that there's highs and there's lows. Right? There's times when the economy is thriving. Your economy and your household and my household is thriving. We're making money. Everybody's out buying and shopping and going out to eat. It's a good time. By the way, good times do not last forever. Those good times will come to a peak.
That's right.
And everything that goes to a peak is what? It'll turn and it begins to slow down a little bit.
That's right.
And in cases, and sometimes, it'll go all the way down to a valley, which in the economy we call that a recession.
Right.
So a recession, right? Things that get a little bit tighter. Now, there's not as much money flowing. Maybe you're not making as much money. Yet, you think about that. When we live and spend everything that we make to match our income, when the recession comes, our income drops, but our expenses stay up there. That's when we get in trouble. So it's critically important that we live below our means so that we can be ready for the next recession.
So good, so good. Well, it's like, many of you, you heard your mom or your grandma tell you, hey, save for a rainy day, right?
True.
I mean, we hear these things and we're like, Mom, Dad, Grandma, you're crazy. You know what you're talking about. But that's exactly what they're describing, what Joe just said, right? Economies go through ups and downs, and you have to just save for a rainy day because it's coming. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. And Jacob, it's what we know as living paycheck to paycheck. That's what we're talking about, right? Avoiding the lifestyle of living paycheck to paycheck. Let's talk about specifically what happens in the household. What happens to you emotionally, mentally when we live paycheck to paycheck? Some of the emotions that we experience is number one is disappointment.
Yeah,
right? It's like, man, I'm just living this cycle, paycheck to paycheck. I remember literally a time where my wife and I, we lived paycheck to paycheck. And I remember one time her friend was getting married and we didn't have money. I mean, literally I didn't have money to go on the road, pay for a hotel to go and be, with her friends so that we can celebrate, their union and marriage. And I remember, Jacob, literally going to the pawn shop to pawn a ring that my mom had given me for my 18th birthday. Wow. I mean, it hurts me literally. When I remember that, it hurts me. I can feel it. And it was disappointing. So when you talk about emotions, we go through disappointment because we think we're going to live broke forever.
Right.
So you feel disappointed. You feel stressed. It's a tremendous amount of stress that just builds up in your mind and your body and the household. That living paycheck, it's very stressful.
Right.
And it can definitely be very stressful, especially on relationships. And then the other emotion is that we think that we get satisfaction by instant gratification. You know what? I'm just going to go out and buy that TV because I'm going to watch I'm going to watch all the series and I'm going to feel good about it.
Yeah.
When really what we're doing is we're just digging the hole deeper and deeper. So we have to be aware.
That's right.
That those kinds of emotions are as a result of living, that paycheck to paycheck. But you know what? There's good news around that. We don't have to live that way.
That's right.
That's why we're here today, to share with you ideas, to share with you the mindset for you to embrace. Part of the NAHREP 10, principle number 3, is to live below your means.
That's right. And I mean, when you think about living below your means, you might have a negative feeling, a negative emotion towards that. But I believe that a lot of the things in life is perspective, right? Having the right perspective. So as we talk to you about living below your means, just think about this. One of my mentors taught me that winter always comes, right?
Yes.
And he said, there's 2 people that are going to face winter. One, the person that lost track of the year and, they didn't prepare, they didn't buy a coat, they didn't buy a blanket, and guess what? They didn't experience winter.
They get cold.
Yeah, they get cold. It's freezing, right? And then there's the other person that prepared for winter, right? What's winter? These recessions, these economic slowdowns, right?
Yes.
So there's the other person that prepared, right? And guess what? When winter came, they went snowboarding. They went and did fire pits with their kids. They rallied everybody around, right? And they had great memories around winter. So it's all about perspective. So as we start unpacking this concept, just think that it doesn't have to be negative.
Absolutely.
You can twist it psychologically and say, how can I lead my family to have better experiences in life?
Yes.
So that whenever the next recession comes and you get unemployed, guess what? You're going to be fine. Because you saved some money, you made some investments that were wise, and guess what? When everybody's selling everything for pennies, you're gonna be buying everything for pennies, right?
Yeah.
So that then you can sell it for a lot more.
You know what, Jacob? Some of the greatest wealth in America were created in turmoil.
That's right.
In a time of crisis is when a lot of wealth in America has been created. Let's talk about some of the practical ways that we can actually get that part of our finances together. So number one, the one thing that I would encourage you to do is you've got to create a budget. You know that statistically, Jacob, that only 1/3 of Americans actually have a budget, or let's call it a spending plan. A budget may be a word that you don't like to use. You feel like it's very, it contains you, keeps you in a box.
Yeah.
A spending plan. That's the first thing. That's a first step towards living below your means, where we begin to plan. Here's one way that I would like you to think about it, because you said it, mindset, perspective.
Yeah.
Is every dollar that you earn, every single dollar that comes into your household, into your pocket, into your checking account, should have a name. Every dollar. Get the bundle. Hey, that's the electric bill dollar. Hey, get this bundle. Hey, that's the grocery bundle.
That's right.
Hey, this is my gasoline bundle. I love that. Now, the envelope system. I know that's such a practical way. Talk about that.
Yeah, so the envelope system is very simple. We've helped thousands of people to learn how to navigate their finances. And so one of the things that we run into all the time is people come and say, I can't seem to get a hold on this expense, right? Going out to eat.
Yes.
Right? Because we know this, right? When we go out to eat, it hurts when you pull out the cash, right? And you spending.
That's painful.
Yeah, $1, $2. But if you're just swiping the card, you're like, hey, let's go out every night. You don't really see the money coming out, right?
It's just plastic.
It's just plastic, right? It's invisible money.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's like you're wondering why there is more money in the bank account, right?
Yeah, you just had dinner at 25%, by the way.
Yeah.
Interest.
Yeah. And so that's what we're saying. Look, you have to be intentional about telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Otherwise, you live in this disappointment emotion, right?
Yes.
You live in this paycheck to paycheck emotion.
Yes.
We're trying to shift all of that around to say, hey, you can win.
Absolutely.
Right?
And you know what? Number 2 is track your spending.
That's right.
Tracking your spending is another practical way on how you can begin to set a path, get your plan together to live below your means, create a budget, a spending plan, and then track your spending. So right at the end of the month, here's what I want you to do. As we approach the end of the month, I want you to take a notebook. I want you to take a spreadsheet, whatever it means, whatever speaks to you, and begin to track everything you spend on a day-to-day basis. You will be amazed of how much money you spend at Starbucks and how much money you spend at Whataburger if you live in Texas.
No, that's right.
It'll be an eye-opener. But those are the 2 things that we call create a budget and then begin tracking your expenses. That is the way that we begin a plan on how to live below our means, Jacob.
That's so good. And I mean, you just said it. Manage your cash flow, right? Look at the budget.
Yeah.
One of the things that we suggest to people all the time is just to start, right? You're like, well, I make this money. How do I manage it better? We always tell people, look, do the 70-30 rule, right?
Yes.
10% for generosity,
Yes.
right? 10% for saving, 10% for investing, and then 70% to cover all of your expenses.
That's a great deal. Live on 70%. It's not bad.
I mean, come on. And then as you get promoted at work and as God opens doors, guess what? You can then begin to live on less than 70%, right?
Yes.
And so what do you do when all of a sudden you double your salary, right? All of a sudden, guess what? You can be more generous, you can take more vacations to enjoy your life, and you can just set up your family to leave a legacy. And so we hope that you really enjoyed this video, that you can apply some of these principles from NAHREP 10 and that they can enhance your life, I'm sure. And so we want you to continue to thrive with your family. So please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please drop a comment with your favorite part of this video and share this with your family and friends.
Yes.